to the next level after trailing different results. Was this the results lobo igatsile? Siyabathi ukuthi they are a strong side, experienced side, normally nabaphumile bayakwazi of
Cup vision la Regions Cup playoffs ngelawa besa ku idlala ke yadlala first leg ile ne S akho yasila lingana ngo 1.
In terms of some of the journalists from Mali I was speaking to, and I think this team was impressed, and some other teams were impressed. They managed to see some players even during the training session yesterday. They just monitored just to see. I think 2 players stood out for them. Babugiri performance ya Junior Makakura. Yes, na Sfiso Mats. I think Baba impressed kakhulu. Babuga at this level, mas. I think it's high time very puming upon because everyone they play against bayaba highlight as some of the key players.
Fabrice, I think kubuya kwakhe Sifiso Mathe kuyiboostile kakhulu irole part even though le results ingakabavumi bakhale pass, but I performance yakhe ngicabanga ukuthi siyathi ukuthi inganani noma singawabekela imali yelviewers ukuthi Sifiso Mathe udlala that number 8 ku role part lokusho ukuthi more like a box to box midfielder lokho ukuthi yena uyafetcha aphinze angene ku 30 yabo uyangale ku half yabo lokho ukuthi i18 yabo uyadlala from 18 yakhe aphinze ayingale ku 18 ema opponents. So is that player lo engine lenkulu la ku midfield yayo i-role part. Then ukhuluma nga Junior njengoba usho ukuthi ema colleagues from Mali praise kakhulu yena Junior Makagula ukuthi ngumdlali lo wenda tinvuti belula. More especially that number 10 role because siyamathi ukuthi yena Junior Makagula number 10. But having said that, Fabrice, I think i-role part isakhumbula ukuthi last season noma kule CAF Confederations Cup yalomnyaka lophelile bafika kuma group stages lapho khona bebane iqembu labo Orlando Pirates. I feel like le performance this season yehlile. Ibangwa yini nge-performance ukuthi yehle Fabrice? There are a lot of players lafikile ku rally party. Yes, Temidlalo bajoinile nabayongena kuma group stages last season, but he's still, for me, still new. Then basayine a player from a defender, a player from Vovovo. So babadlalisa bekusekunengi lokufuna kufunzana kule defense yayo i-role part. Hence lama results la agcine avela noma lavelile namuhla. Otherwise I feel like le performance yehlile. If i-role part ifike kuma group stages last season ingafiki ku this season ma group stages, ngicabanga ukuthi i-downgrade angayibeka kanjalo in terms of ibhola.
Nabuke kakhulu kathi ukuthi the opponents lama opponents babenawo last year they played against teams from North Africa, your Arabian countries, which we know that in terms of football they are quite advanced. This time around, not to undermine Imari or anything, but they are not that advanced because now Bugarande history of the team last time in the CAF competition was back in 2014 and they didn't reach that far. So they're a building team, but maybe the assist of the national team coach is also helping the team. But Master, currently we are judging teams. Is it because it's early in the season? Nyaguva Master ukalanga ukuthi it's their performance they have dropped. But skumbule ukuthi we took it's season ngibona kule platform somewhere somehow baba criticize and baba Highlanders ukuthi vele kule season ngendeka irrelegate what because they don't mean business what is it so much the right time ukuthi I team might discuss ukuthi vele performance njani kudlalwe 4 games already in the season. Fine ngiyakuva lokho ukuthi akwakhona ukudlala kahle ku Momo Cup in as much as Leopard bengekho, but sesibona nabo England, you know, the fastest to kuqala race most of the time akusiwe kufika kuqala nyaro sibuka ukuthi at some point Leicester City ngathi beta relegate but nyaro seba kuphukile. What does that mean? Is really Roy Leopard out of form noma ngokuthi it's game time abakayithole enough game time ukuze ukuthi singasho ukuthi I performance ehle?
Fabrice, ku understand ngicabanga ukuthi as an administrator noma as a coach noma whosoever lo part of a team kumele ukuthi understand I environment la kuyo I role part beyathi ukuthi idlale I Champions League that's number 1. Number 2 bebati ukuthi ngenteka ukuthi I league iphuthe ekuqala. Yes, it's totally wrong ukuthi bekungashaya kufike October kungikhathi ekuqala I league. But Fabrice ngike ngabekisa ngibekisile itolo ngathi kuwina inkomishi kweNsingizini noSpurs akusi mistake. Babe ku camp 3 months. Lalamanye ama teams bekase busy badlala izibani bayana bebangekho ku camp. Ithi ke nasekumenyetela ukuthi seyitawuqala isizini lo 3 weeks bakhona kumhlala camp ngiyathi ukuthi kudulile Fabrice angeke size sihlalelana sengathi kulula kurana I-team kudulile kuhlalisa abadlali ku camp but if as an administrator u decide ukuthi mina ngiyangena ebholeni then kusho ukuthi uya fit ukuthi ukuface lawo ma challenges asebholeni uya fit ukuthi utawukhona kurana I-team so ngicabanga ukuthi tonke letinto leto kudzinga ukuthi as an administrator ut understand ukuthi badlali kuze ukuthi balaste isikhathi lesidze ku pre-season no sorry during the course of the season kudzinga ukuthi uba fit kakhulu ku pre-season nge-training ma-tactics konke strength konke letinto leto endurance tonke letinto leto agility ubafaka kuphi ubafaka pre-season.
Now Sibone, at some point before we leave this topic, moving to the next topic, Leopard are out of the CAF Confederations Cup. Breaking news, sort of breaking news, not really breaking news, but sort of, since the game is in like an hour 30 minutes already since it finished. But we've seen in the past season, Master, since Mbabane Swallows great performance was ended, wangeni Green Mamba yaphuma, kwangeni Young Buffaloes yaphuma, kwangeni Leopard yaphuma, kwabuye Buffaloes, kwabuye Leopard. Sibone indlela icale ngayo Buffaloes. Can we say it's another turn of change now? Now ubuka isizini indlela icale ngayo. Can Buffaloes now pick up where they left now, outshine Leopard? Sibone ukuthi Leopard for the past 2 or 3 seasons they were dominating. But now there are signs of strength from Buffaloes. What does that mean now? They are going to compete locally. Do they have what it takes to defend the league?
Yes, definitely. Royal Party, they are one of my teams last strong local. Ukhuluma ngebadlali abakhona cabangisi babalile bo junior sababala bo Swiso. They still have Bomzoro, my experienced players. They still have Bolungelo. I feel like even the goalkeeping department nakhona is one of the strongest in the kingdom. So ngicabangisi bato compete batawubuya. And Royal Party ngeke ngasho before ngathi since baqala kuwina I-league since nje baqala kuwina I-league abakaze bayiwina I-league kanye abakaze bayiwina I-league kabili bahamba bayiwine kathathu kulandzelana so ngicabanga ukuthi this time around batawufuna ukuthi bayiwine kuloko sithathu because sebayiwinile kabili umnyaka ilandzelana so nyalo batawufuna ukuthi bakwende lokho but kutaba lukhulu kakhulu ke Fabrice njengoba sisho ukuthi kunama teams Young Buffaloes ibuyile ngeke uzukubalekele lokuthi Young Buffaloes ibuyile Green Mamba ikhonile recruiter Mbabane Swallows isekhona Mbabane Highlanders nayo isekhona Nsingizini angeke uzuyibale 2 out of 2 namhla bawinile against Madlenya bawina 2-1 so ngicabanga ukuthi ngeke uzubathathele pass nabo ku 2 games bawine 2 ama games so ngicabanga ukuthi kutaba likhulu kakhulu for Royal Party ukuthi iwine I-league but still nginika bona as my title favorites.
All right, confirmation of Royal Leopard crashing out of the tournament. Those are the pictures courtesy of IS Red Bamako's official website where they were broadcasting the game live. Now, just moving on, know that over the weekend there was the Momo Cup 2022, first edition ever of the tournament. Now, we're just looking at what highlighted the day, besides the confusion that we got from himself sincerely on Monday. We'll talk about also the champions and everything, but players that we saw on the day in terms of performance and nasikhuluma ngama personal performance bakhona abadlali master esingasho ukuthi on the day personally baku-impressed nguvira ukukhuluma ngabo Subsiso nguvira ukukhuluma ngabo the Son and other players, but they deserved these individual awards. Himself also among the players that impressed you.
Yes, my players abathola ama man of the match bebahlomelisa cishe labadlali labe bathole ama man of the match awards throughout the tournament nsingizini cishe kube team le dominateile throughout the tournament. So I feel like if a team itawukhona ukuthi ifike final idominate idlale iya deserve ukuthi ibe nabadlali abaningi labatawuthola lawo ma man of the match award. What a play, Fabrice. There's one thing ngayisho on Monday ukuthi this team Monen Pirates team now ungathi uyayibuka the players la khona lapha, the composition yalama players noma the ngathi lenhlobo yalabadlali labakhona, they are ball players, but ball players with bayati ukuthi bahlose in, bayati ukuthi bafuna in. Njoba sengishilo ukuthi Singizini yes dominateile badlali babe baningi because ifikile ku final yahamba yayiwina. But ke Fabrice ngifuna kuveta nawo insingizini because I feel like badlali beba competela for player of the tournament.
Does he deserve the performance, this young man?
Paraba. Yes, it's Paraba. Sibusiso, bathi nguSibusiso Dlamini Paraba. As a young goalkeeper, ngicabanga ukuthi unako konke Fabrice, is taller than me.
Height imqoka, yes.
Height imqoka kakhulu. And not only height, because siyabati bo goalkeeper. For me nje ungkhumbuta Peter Cech Peter Cech wase Czech Republic, yes. Labekadlala licembu leChelsea wadlala licembu leArsenal ngalendlela langiyo, the way lenta ngayo tinto. But I feel like a player from Monene Pirates Kitwa, I feel like beka deserve something kule tournament. I still feel like the way la performing ngayo throughout the tournament from ekseni nabadlala nembabona Highlanders kuya ku final, I feel like khona beka deserve kule tournament le.
Top scorer 10,000 emalangeni. What an award.
Yeah, nguye Kitwa player of the for me player of the tournament.
Player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Quite impressive. Now, I'm seeing also the Sheiks. They are not that bad in terms of award abadlali. I'm happy nanga bungadlalanga then you told it 5,000 just one day.
In fact, one game 2,000 man of the match.
Yeah,
2,000 then naso hamba so thola lokunye lo ye best pro le cesa phuma nyalo best player award Tubelish. Fabrice, I want to talk about kukhuluma this young man. He's a playmaker. In fact, he's a number 10 for me. He's a number 10. And tinvola tendago because labaneng at his age uthola ukuthi bathanza ku that area sebasho bota benda tonke letinvo leto noma babe sebatatatela kungakhoni ukukhokha ibhola ngesikhathi. He's that number 10 longajagi, but we understand that ipace game ukuthi okay nyalo ngisengicinga ukuthi ngisheshe ngifakele pass, or I should wait for ema strikers or for ema forwards ukuthi ngiwafakele ibhola. Ngicabanga ukuthi une bright future yena Thubelihle waka Mavuso. Yes, Thubelihle Mavuso kuNsingizini North Space. If atawuchubeka abe discipline, ngiyaye ngikhuthate kakhulu Fabrice kubadlali ukuthi as a player uyadzinga ukuthi ube focus, uyadzinga ukuthi ube discipline, because ema headlines the soccer babes are watching.
Khona umuntu udlala igame yinye master noma 2 games nje. Ahambe ekhaya na 350,000.
Okay Fabrice, iMonen Pirates imtholile lelo shekele marana up 300 bamdeserve beba deserve futhi kufika ku final badlale kahle kakhulu. But the players more especially bensingizini, because now the brand sebayibeka letulu. So uyathinga I'm happy ukuthi kunebadlali lapha ukhona Siza as a trainer, ukhona Njabuliso as a goalkeeper coach labayihambile lendlela, and sikhuluma ngabami laba very disciplined. Njabulo sorry Njabuliso discipline, Siza discipline. So batabagayida labadlali laba ukuthi bakhona kuba focus.
The eventual champions 600,000. runners up got 350. Playing 2 games nje una 350. Playing 2 games una 600,000. Uma ungadlane kudlala ileague nje ngoba ileague utayidlala the whole 8 months uthole over 1 million, but 2 games you are 600,000.
Fabrice, you know ukuthi did you know realize leni ukuthi coach Phiri ufike insingizini ina 2 months i camp. In a 2 months i camp. So ke Fabrice ngithi kumcwa kakhulu ukuthi the one who was training the team, the one labeka hlala nalabadlali ecampini wonke lo 3 months ayitfolele credit. Who's that guy? Siza Dlamini. Angifuni kube ngathi, but if a team a coach atafike akhanze konke sokwentile wena bese soya handover proper handover, then team itawuhamba all the way ifike i-winning commission. Siza Dlamini deserves the credit. Yes, the president, the director, Mr. Sheba ngicabanga ukuthi investor ebholeni Fabrice yakithi. These are peanuts because 600,000 is nothing
compared to what he puts in.
Kunako lokufakako as a director with team. I remember one administrator ngidibana naye uthenga kudla kwabadlali kulomnye umnyaka about 10-11 years ago. Akhuluma athi kuyabida kuyathexa ukuthi i-team itawuhlala isikhathi lesingaka ingadlali ku pre-season. Angisakhulumi ke nasekuqalile season. So ngicabanga ukuthi all the directors, all the presidents ema teams out there deserve kushayelwa tani.
Can this man push the team to challenge for the title? Look how happy they are. They're holding the trophy. Can they challenge for the trophy? He has what it takes. Yes, we've seen the signs. He puts in an effort. He puts in some financial assistance. Angabasita ukuthi baqale ukhompyutha in the other league level.
Remember Fabrice last season nabaka first division some interview in Nhlangano naba winner that first round carrot. Wathi ifocus yami, I know ukuthi bantu bathi I'm dreaming big, but ifocus yami we Africa. And ngalendlela le pace noma lendlela lehamba ngayo insingizini no Spurs ngicabanga ukuthi basendleleni lekahle ukuthi bangahamba baye Africa, but the baby steps are very, very important. Never ever jump a step empilweni kuze utawukhona ukuthi usucceed ube successful.
We're moving on, but before we move on, we know that prior to the issues that we had of COVID and other tournaments, we're looking at the goals, but this topic we're talking about, don't we see a situation where at the end of the season, when we're looking at 2 teams that represent us in CAF competitions, remember we take one who won the league for CAF Champions League, and we used to take Lohambembili kuswazi bank ukuthi abe nguyelo dlala CAF Confederation ayikho nyare Eswatini bank. Singasebenzisa le thuba lensingizini ngoba siyathi ukuthi ayikabi, siyathi ukuthi la esigwaca yawo imithetho yashintsha nje everything. Not ukuthi siyabatsela but imithetho yashintsha. Singavuka kusasa sive ukuthi vele lo win imomo cup ngiyelo eAfrica. Angisho ukuthi ku final but ku possible nakhona.
Ngicabanga ukuthi that can be the biggest robbery in football. If a team ledlale 2 games ingahamba iyomelela leave. I doubt. We have very good football administrators. I doubt if the president can allow that. No. Ngicabanga ukuthi lokho league lokuthi kwanyalo because kusaid lenye tournament letawufaka all the teams kwanyalo lokuthi number 2 ahambe kube nguye lotawumelela live CAF Confederations Cup. I think kukahle for me until kuze kufike leyo tournament litawufaka onke ama teams aka Premier League naka First Division, because the CAF Confederations Cup inika lokuthi kube khona nalaka First Division, because remember, I doubt if you still remember the team. There was once a team yakamanzini bebathi izwiki yahamba yaze yafika ngikhumbula kahle kuma semi-finals Eswatini Bank. That's where Dlamini Pindrix avela khona. He never played the Premier League. Wahamba straight from First Division waya South Africa kudlala khona. Ka Premier League ubuya sabuya in South Africa. So we need those tournaments la kanjalo latawufaka First Division na Premier League. Kuthi if banema surprises ka First Division atawuhamba ayomelela live Africa, let it be.
Beautiful stuff. Maybe we can just look at some of the goals that are highlighted the day on Sunday. Beautiful goals. Just to look at how some of the teams were on a high note in terms of showing performance, including this game, this beautiful kick, Master. I think you talked about also the position of the goalkeeper. Before I start,
this for me.
Yeah.
Goal of the tournament.
Goal of the tournament.
Yeah.
Everything was done by the goalkeeper. It's just the cleverness of the player.
Mpoto. For me, goal of the tournament. Fabrice, ngifuna ku highlight something ngampoto. I know ukuthi angisiyo favorite ku many local football players and football administrators. Last season angifuni kudla isikhathi. Ngidibene naye somewhere around Lobamba years. I talked to him. I said, "Come on, we are a Premier League player. You are not supposed to be behaving like this in public."
Okay.
You know, lengisho ko Fabrice because bekunebamvu labanengi bekudlala women
tournament league.
Yes, a technical center. Lo ngisho ngishisa ukuthi bamva inqumbi a Premier League player babukela kuye. Me and you lokuthi sibela, we need to be disciplined because many emaswati abukela kimi nawe. So ngathi nangikhuluma naye this season I hope kunsingizi not Spurs utaba discipline train kahle sitayibona performance la kanjena week in week out.
More goals before we move on to other duties. Now, before we talk about other sporting codes, we can also look at some other highlighted. We talked about penalties, how to finish. This man also was one to look up to. He's been very key in that hard defense of this team.
Oh yes, Bofa.
Bofa, yeah.
Bofa.
Yeah. Bofa one.
Rock solid Fabrice. Ngicabanga ukuthi ngihlale ngisho ukuthi an international player. I was watching interview ya Chris Katongo the other day. Akhuluma ukuthi nake fike South Africa bekafuna kuba above the South Africans because he's an international. So these players udzinga ukuthi ufika even udzinga ukuthi ube ngetulu kwala labanye outshine the locals because bakulandzele wetala yabona. So nale mali lo itholako angeke izifane nema locals then sikhombisa lapha ekhasa ground ukuthi vele you are an international.
Lokho ku apply ebholeni kuphela noma
apply ebholeni kuphela. We need now nje we need to see ufaka extra effort.
Angisiwe kuhamba ngoba khaya vile. Angisiwe kuhamba. Asikuyabo ngoba uba for one you can have a conversation njengale ndlela ngikhuluma ngayo kwanyaka. Angisiwe kuhamba.
Bese ngibekisa ukuthi nawe the time so hamba uphumela ngaphandle. Yes.
Sengabe lithuba nje kuvetela abantu ukuthi angisiwe kuhamba. Now, let's look at more goals, Master, on the day. Beautiful goals. And you were there, you managed to get them, you managed to also analyze them. What's your take on this one?
This goal for yona Monen Pirates, but ngangayiveta in our sister show ilibhola Eswatini ukuthi poor defending from yona imbabana Highlanders nayile result indirect free kick lendeka la good take from yena Rafaela Fash ngicabanga ukuthi wasebenzisa iexperience because wabona le space lesivulwe ngibo badlali bayo iMonen Pirates wakwenda lokho kwakhona ukuthi ashaya goal first goal yakhe ku Premier League tournament in over a year. So ngicabanga ukuthi it's huge for him.
It's huge for him, and I think what we also saw on the day is that the season could be showing us some signs that as we look at some goals and some penalties, we're getting signs that we could have a strong and typical season. Ngiyathi ukuthi kulabanye ndi focus tabe ku World Cup, but singakhohle ukuthi lakhaya kutabe kudlala ibhola, but at the end of the day there are teams to watch. You talked about so much of this indirect free kick. Once again, maybe we highlight ukuthi lo ngakhona ukulalela lo ngakhona kuguva on Monday ukuthi bowuthini kahle kahle kule decision.
Bengithi Fabrice lena indirect free kick. Ene foul in fact indirect free kick isho ukuthi itawudlalwa bamvu lababili. Indirect free kick yendeka kanjani ke Fabrice? Ngenteka kokuthi le foul ingabi ne contact ngabekisa nge-head and kick if ngazama mina ngishimphakamisela inyawo lami libe ngetulu kwale libhekeke khona uhede wena that's a foul indirect le indirect idlalwa abantu lababili once if nje lapha wayishaya but ke Fabrice he is a trick one ka Super League team our opponents is it beat us there was a team yes they beat us yayithola le indirect free kick le indirect free kick bayishaya ngumuntu munye bayishaya ekhathi ba celebrate ngema mina because I understand ukuthi indirect free kick idlalwa ngithiwe abantu and if a goalkeeper azama kuyiseva yangena ayitsinzile that's a goal
but awukayitsinzi ngoba kufanele idlalwe ngabantu
kumele idlalwe abantu lababili so the referee ngiyamnika credit because wabuyisa kwathatha kwaba i goal kick.
That was robbery. Kwasitakala mase kusho ukuthi imithetho vele kusukela katseni uyayathi. Now, let's get to the finals because there were some outstanding goals in the final between Nsingizini and the Morani Pirates, which I think you talked about brilliance, Master. This goal on its own, you talked about mistakes in the defense, but this goal to me, look at how he gets into the defense. Oof, what a finish.
This is a beautiful goal. This is a beautiful goal. Lena nelampoto le free kick. Ngicabanga ukuthi uma ngithu ngathi for me yes lampoto a beautiful free kick but le play nale way le a controller ngayo le bola first time ngicabanga ukuthi it's one of emagolo tawabukela over and over again ungathini okwabukela and nale composure ekhatha boxing because lo munye bekangarasha ashaya asabona ukuthi goalkeeper or even nalama players asasondela amaka but wakhona ukuthi amdlulise abuye ngala bese soyacethisa ngicabanga ukuthi it's one of emagolo lamahle lesobonele ngeweekend.
There's another goal the equalizer by Nsingizini. I think to me fine sikhuluma ukuthi you know class sometimes is permanent, you know, performance can be temporary, but class is this one, Master, what's your take on this one? Was he deliberate noma kwamfikela nje kwaba ligola lihle? It wasn't ukuthi maybe unokuba smart kwalomdlalo. Oof.
This is a young man langikhuluma ngaye Thubelihle. Fabrice mina ngiyawathanza bo number 10
labantu umsebenzi wao
labantu umsebenzi wayo not only kuphasa not only kudlalisa i-team ngiyabathanza bo number 10 labantu understand look at le run yakhe uthi okay fine le bhola iyangale ngendasi but mina into lengidayenda ukuthi yini ngawungena ngisonzele la kancane la ku D-line bese sengogatsa le bhola naseyibuya
and
yamkhanza le bhola because nguye lo locala le play uthi ngiyayifaka le bhola nangiyifaka le bhola lendasa ngimi ngiyasonzela la D-line bo number 10 emhlabeni ema teams inqumbi awina ngawe because nguye lo tawubona le defense naseyingenele ingene goalkeeper yena sola ngemuva so yakhona ukuthi apick a spot otherwise it's a good goal but I'm happy ngeunderstanding yakhe Thubelihle that position lasayithethe kuNsingizini.
Beautiful stuff. What a tournament it was. What goals that we noted. Young stars that are on the rise in the kingdom. Beautiful performance. There's a lot of potential that these young ones have showed us, especially in these so-called small teams. But a great performance from Nsingizini. Now, Master, Konama debates Nyalo, Gutsi Nyalo, are they the team to watch? I know Gutsi, the ins and out of information is there. But Master, say it's the season. Now it's high time with Skumar Trinis. To you, before we move on and go to other sporting courses, to you now, we've got 4 games already in the lead. What's your take? Who stand a chance?
Ilike marathon, Fabrice. Ilike marathon. I know what's last season. I should see Leopard will go all the way, go win, but it's tough. It's tough. It's tough because kunengilokwendekile pre-season emacimbi incumbi aphutile kuqala lamanye kwavela indzaba ukuthi badlala bakaholi tonke letinvo leto but ngicabanga ukuthi i-team lekhonile kupreparisha kahle pre-season because pre-season Fabrice ulingisa invuthwane you know ukuthi invuthwane ehlobo iyafaka ehlobo iyafaka ithathe lokudla ihambe ifake ku store room thathe ifake lokudla ku store room then ebusika la sekumakhatha khona ayisabonakala intuthwana seyihleli le strength le endurance konke lokho lokufakako ku pre-season kuyakulasta isizini yonke hence ngibekisa ngentuthwana.
Ngisafuna kuye ku next topic master ngiyahamba producer ngicolela just this question case ngiyahamba ku next topic. Yeah,
I know it's kumnanzi kubuta mina Fabrice chubeka.
Now we want us to talk about wheelchair basketball. You visited them over the weekend. Before I go, sethi khona must team paper takho ukuthi ungacoach team manyalo master.
Yeah,
ngoba une coach wake ngi-approach ukuthi sora uthole ngani team ngoba uyadeserve ukuthola team. And nalo coach nalona ngathi nawe ngive ngathi uyabuya kulenye team by the name of Ace Dlamini. We have believe ukuthi you should be coaching a team. Why not coaching a team?
I'm happy if bo coach labanjengabo Ace batawukhuluma kanjalo Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi I'm really honored
humbled,
if
yes.
Yeah, I'm humbled if a coach, an experienced coach like Ace, not only him mhlambe labanye ngiyadibana nabo but lokumcwaka kakhulu Fabrice ukuthi na ezibakusho lokho lenhloko ingabe sesiyavuvuka ngiqhubeke ngibe
phasi
no isengavuvuka but
ube calm down ulalele listen ube pass
yeah ube pass
ungabe sewuthi coach phela mina. Wow. Now over the weekend, not only football, ukhonile kuvakashela baka wheelchair basketball. Wheelchair basketball, they are under the Eswatini Basketball Association. So over the weekend, they had a tournament that was, promoted or rather sponsored or rather brought to, action by mostly African Awakening. Ngindlela nje ukuthuthukisa imidlalo yabantu labakhubatekile, networking and other stuff. But wafika master emavuso wakanzana.
Fabrice njoba social ukuthi i-wheelchair basketball angothi le basketball le under i-Basketball Association of Eswatini basukumisa committee letawubuka yona i-wheelchair basketball ledlalwa bamvula bakhubatekile udlala ngaso lesitulo semasonvo but ke Fabrice i-Basketball Association bayahlala phasi nelisa Awakening Africa inhlangano vele lebuka tindzaba tebamvu labakhubatekile ukuthi singabendela ini bamvu labakhubatekile yathi i-basketball no we have our own wing lokuyi wheelchair basketball ngicabanga ukuthi ngaba kahle ukuthi kusukunyiswe leyo tournament leyo badlale labamvu abakhona ke emacembu in fact kwaba na 2 ama teams from Babane and Manzini base bawahlukanisa labadlali because lama games ukuthi atoba manengi kwadlala ke Fabrice iMbabane versus Manzini a very good game ngamusha nje ukuthi isikhathi kudinga ukuthi bese so sheshwe hamba otherwise beyibukeleka bayadlala and uyababona labadlala ukuthi ba improve I remember early this year ngiyoba cover Coronation Coronation Park ngabona ukuthi okay kusekhona lapho kudzingeka khona vele le coaching uthola ukuthi le wheelchair bashayisana kakhulu aba understand ukuthi kumele ngiyende le running ngibheke kuphi but now look at that from Vusi look at Nomsa ngicabanga ukuthi is one player naye lo improve kakhulu. There is one thing I like about Nomsa udlala wheelchair basketball udlala wheelchair tennis maningi lama sports sitting volleyball maningi lama sports lawadlalako so ngicabanga ukuthi our players especially labo labakhubatekile kumele ukuthi ba understand ukuthi sports sabo lesi and if bangadlali le sport sitawudlalwa bobani.
Credit also should go to that man in the back, Mr. Dishabang. He's very passionate. The man in the red shirt
is everywhere.
Dishabang, we know how involved he is. Labamatigo Coronation Park in Babani, he's very there. Ngamkanza Monday to Friday.
He's a coach.
He's a coach. Now, on the day present to witness the performance of the teams and the competition itself was the different guests, including the Eswatini Boxing Association President Nhlanhla Mapanga. But what does this mean for the Eswatini wheelchair basketball?
The Basketball Association of Eswatini sicala ikomiti lelincane letawubuka nje i-wheelchair basketball kwabe sekufika i-COVID yasimisa nje vele into tababuhlalihlalo kancanyane kepha abadlali bethu solo bayajima and then ke ukuthi nalathi vele sibukete indlela ukuthi sikhona ukuthi siqhubeke sibanike imidlalo batokhona ukudlala baqhubeke bantele batokhona kufeza lokho bakujimela lapha nje nyalo nje thina sijabulile ukuthi futhi sekune new mother body le Paralympic Sports body lapho khona lo mengameli wakhona usuka la khona lakithi futhi ka basketball sibuketela kuye ukuthi sitawubambisana kanjani ukuthi sichubekise le mdlalo we-wheelchair basketball. Imigomo yethu ka basketball ukuthi silethe lo mdlalo kuwonke umuntu asibandlululi ukuthi umuntu lonjani so emathuba nakavela nje ukuthi hawu lala bangathi nje bakhubatekile bakhona idlala laba abadlala ku normal basketball likhona lithuba ukuthi sibadlalise nabo cha vele nasi sisumela phansi ukuthi phela vele nabo bathola lithuba ukuthi bakhona ukudlala and siyathi ke vele ukuthi ke inkinga yakho lokho kuba kulokudula kwaleti tulo naleti indzawo nje ukuthi kulikhuni ukuthi abantu bafike etindzaweni siyabuketa ke nathi sibukela labanye labangasibambisa ukuthi sichubeke sithole indlela yokuthi wonke umuntu akhona ukuthi akhona edlale le basketball. Siba ka basketball siyajabula nje kusho ukuthi nasingabuyela nje etikolweni sesiyakhuluma nenhlanga ukuthi eti ma school sports kuthi kulomnyaka lotako sitawumisa kanjani sithole indlela yokucoacha abo thishela ukuthi babe bo coach sibafundzise ukuba babe Rafela bese ke lomnyaka lotako bese sawukhona ukuthi sibe nelihlelo nje lelikahle lelitawuqhubeka ukuthi tikolo titayidlala kanjani ibasketball kusenjalo ke nalaba labadzala sitawuhlangana nabo madvutane nje sisho usitokuva ukuthi bona lama clubs lobeka limetwe iCovid sasime kanjani sacimile sajimile yini sakhona yini ukuthi sesingakhona sambe lathi siyofuna indleyo kuma sponsors ngoba siyathi nje ukuthi ama sponsors akavani nendvo yelanga linye afuna indvo letawuthatha isikhathi so vele siyayibuketa lenzaba ukuthi ileague singayinta kanjani kepha lokumcoka kakhulu kithi ngokuthi sicinise lapha ekuthaneni sibe naboceceshi labaningi sibe nabo Rafela labaningi la Eveni bekusifiso sethu ukuthi ngalenye ilanga sitaba na Rafela lotawu Rafela khona nale ka FIBA eAfrica noma eWorld Cup njengoba nasebona nje lasebholeni sesiqalile kusabo Rafela labahamba bayasimelela Eveni kumcoka lokho la kithi kepha ke kancane kancane sitawuzama ukuthi sikuhlanganise konke lokho.
Solo ngicela ukudlala le wheelchair basketball ngi-improve kwekuthi bengingakwadi kuyifusha le moto le ngidlala ngayo but nyalo sengiyayifusha bengingakwadi nekuthi ngikhone ukuskora but sengiyakwadi nyalo and le ngifundzele kwekuthi sibantu labakhubatekile akusho kwekuthi ngoba ukhubatekile sekude sport lo ngasidlala le wheelchair basketball nje kusibonakaliso sekucala kwekuthi ungaba disabled but you are able ukuthi wente letinye tintfo it's a matter yokuthi thine sikwenta differently kunalama body able nangibuka mine le level isisephasi kakhulu ngekwekuthi kunetinfo ema sponsors sibabete kahle and isengakakhona lokwekuthi iadvertiseke kahle ngoba incumbi yethu thine lesikhubatekile solo sinekuvaleleka emakhaya nalami imangweni kukhanze ukuthi nje lemakhaya abatani naloku lesikwendako it's only la dolobheni kuphela.
Ngithokoze kakhulu kuba kulomdlalo namuhla nekwekuthi nje lama tournament lana aqhubeke asibe nawo kuyasijabulisa kwakha lo mdlalo ukuthi uqhubeke ube khona lona ngumdlalo lomusha we basketball we wheelchair basketball lesisefisa ukuthi undlondlobale indlela lenkulu yokuthi undlondlobale lo mdlalo kwanza kwalama tournament siyathokoza kakhulu kulabo labasitile ukuthi ugcine uphelele ube khona siyathi ukuthi dine ngingcinamba labahlangabetana nato nasi naba organize ama tournament la njengala wethu nethi dzingeko tibatineng tindleko tibatineng letiba khona kwatisa ukuthi usikhuluma ngebantu labakhubatekile lokuqala tindleko tiqala nje lokumlanza kuba tindleko tona leto njengoba labanye lapha kubite ukuthi sibalanze tindlini ngalokuthi vele kukhona indlela ehamba yabo ilikhona but nje siyabonga ngosakakhulu bas-organize lo mdlalo nokuthi ke siyafisa futhi siyaqela ukuthi uqhubeke usekeleke ube khona singajabula nje lokungenani sasingaba nawo njalo ngekota kungawukhulisa lo mdlalo. Siyafisa ngalenye ilanga nathi sibonakale mhlambe sekungasasithi ngoba sesinemalanganyana. Mhlambe sekungasasithi sekungilaba labancane kunathi labasafunda esikole sibabone emaveni nakukhulunywa ngemidlalo yabantu abakhubatekile kungabi nje ukukhuluma nje nawo lesikubonayo but sibone vele lo mdlalo ukuthi ukhona uyentela ngoba kwanyalo siye sikubone lokuhamba embili kakhulu kulethi khundla nje siye sive ukuthi sibaphene ikhundla simangala ukuthi ingabe vele imidlalo baphana khona ikhona yini ngoba nje umuntu akadumise la ka wheelchair basketball ukuthi lo mdlalo ukhona kungaba kuqela nje ukuthi vele awusekeleke nathi sinebantu abakhubatekile sidumisele ukuthi nasisekelekile siyawuvela sowudlale sifundise nalabanye labancane abetayo kungabi nje umdlalo tawugcina namhla kuphela.
Beautiful stuff. Now, that is the wheelchair basketball officials, president of Eswatini Basketball Association, Hlahla Mapang, also highlighting some of the things that they are working on together with the Paralympic Committee to ensure that people also who are living with disabilities, they do get that reference, they do get that momentum when it comes to sporting activities. Now, this man did not only cover the wheelchair basketball because Taekwondo, as one of the leading sports in the country, they had a grading ceremony. Master Wafika Wakanzan, on the day, just getting their performance ready on the day.
Fabrice, Taekwondo Association, babenama grading classes eSaligen. Kamanzini grade ke Fabrice ukuthi langabe bengide mina libhande lokushothi belt sengidawusuka la ekubeni bede bangigrade bese sengithola white belt. In fact ka Taekwondo Fabrice kunemabhande lang 6 from white belt kuya ku black belt shothi le black belt abekhona ke president labeka kule committee labe grader akhona na technical director Gininza yes president Zakhele Dlamini bobangithu ngibo labe bakule committee ekubuka ukuthi okay lona siyamnika indvele libhande uyasuka white uyakubani ngicabanga ukuthi Fabrice lokungijabulisa kakhulu ngayo i Taekwondo ukuthi every time ngiyokhava Taekwondo ngiyababona abadlali abancane ngiyababona abadlali not only badlali nje labancane badlali abancane labatimisele lobona ukuthi bafisa ukuthi le sport badlale batimisele because i Taekwondo akusiyo nje sport lesi ngisho ukuthi sidlalwa abantu lasebakhulile emaveni la afana nabo Japan uthola abamfana labancane badlala bakhompyutha sebanabo black belt so ngicabanga ukuthi nathi we are on the right direction wakhuluma ke secretary Sizwe Mabuza wakhuluma kakhulu ukuthi involve abayifise kakhulu kuyibona ku local lo mdlalo le Taekwondo ukuthi bafise kubona across the country kudlalwa nge-standard sinye. In fact as eMaswati sibe ne-identity kwatiwe ukuthi okay eMaswati iTaekwondo ayidlala kanje uyambona ukuthi lo muntu noma ngabe uchamuka ku young lama teams aka Taekwondo but ubone ukuthi lona liswati labo coach bonke bakhoshe ngekufanana.
Master ngiyayibona le improvement especially nokhuluma nge-Taekwondo Association laba mfana laba sibabona kwenyalo come 2026 in the next 4 years sitabe sukhuluma ukuthi ngibona baya kuma region 5 games yini lesingakufunza maybe from le ndawucela at some point sibuye kancane ku wheelchair because nakhona ngifuna ukukhuluma ngako but kwanye sesikhuluma nge-Taekwondo but yini lesingakufunza kakhulu from this Taekwondo Association siyababona boZakhele Dlamini bosizwe Mabuza bayatimisela kakhulu kwenshosha ukuthi le sport and sikhuluma ukuthi ma fans vele bafana na wonke umuntu bethe enough but the dedication to the sport it's what drives them. Nasikhuluma ngama records I think they are one of the sporting codes lesingasho ukuthi nyalo when it comes to representing the country bala in terms of glory and medals. Yini lesingafunza ku as other sporting codes association?
Fabrice, there are no shortcuts in any sports. If utawuhalandzela letindlela letingeto ku sport ukhuluma nge proper development umcala phasi lo muntu uyanyuka nayo lendvo then nasakhulile so apply konke naku lobo solo umfundisa kona i-taekwondo njoba ngisho ukuthi every tournament labayidlalako noma every laba grader khona abakhanza abadlala abancane so akusi miracle ukuthi taekwondo every tournament labayahamba kungaphandle bayithola i-gold because it's not just any medal bayithola i-gold. Ngakhulumisa lomunye nje bani Vuyisile wakamhlanga wathola i-gold last year so ngicabanga ukuthi njoba ngisho akusi miracle they are doing very well and nawubuka even nakula macembu because bo next generation la khona Muzi the secretary ukhanza abadlali abancane and nabahamba every time nabaya ngaphandle but afike ba dominate because ba understand ukuthi in fact babese babuyisa naku labatshelo kona la ekhaya so ngicabanga ukuthi I leadership yakhe Zakhele wakadlamini lo president ngicabanga ukuthi into umsebenzi lomhle kakhulu Fabrice kule past 3 or 4 years ema medals labatholile ayindlula ku30 so ngicabanga ukuthi that's tremendous.
Kukhona level ofika kuyo master as an athlete then lokuthi ngako mostly it's not really the association unokuthi maintain wena une personal capacity behavior self discipline sengiveta abadlali abafana nabo Carlota Manuva siyathi ukuthi ukuscholarship ya sport council or ioga should say so siyabathi bo Wandile Maziya seke sambona nayo ya trend ku social media as one athlete simbona ukuthi active. How do you then ensure that they maintain the right performance bangabe disturbed from things from outside?
Njengoba usho Fabrice self discipline lokungichazile ukuthi ka taekwondo every kid leya ku grader noma every kid leba part of a tournament umntali uba khona and invo lenhle lokho uyathi ukuthi kuyajabulisa Fabrice ukuthi nawuthi uyadlala uthi uvuse emehlo ubona ababo wakho noma ubona makwakho so ngicabanga ukuthi nawe nje Fabrice udzinga ukuthi bantu bakho ngeweekend ukubathathe nihambe nidlala ibasketball nihambe nidlale whatever lenifuna ukudlala kuhle lokho bayakujabulela abantwana and lokho years and years nasabakhulile but I understand ukuthi bekungasiwe nje umdlalo bofaka lokuthanza le sport la kubo.
Now I want us to close but just coming back a bit of wheelchair I'm just remembering something I had forgotten. Isikhathi lesithe sesitubuthe ukuthi is it the only sport they can dominate in? I mean so far ukhulumile ukuthi bayenda kahle but is it high time maybe kube ne league official? I mean we've talked about African Championship, international competition, ngengakhuluma also na Olympic movement and the Paralympic committee. Can they have a committed league le tawuhlala ibenda ukuthi be active? Sesingasho ukuthi then ba ready ukuthi ba compete internationally. Improvement ikona but they need those competitions.
They are working on it. They are working on it. Nangikhuluma naye President Maphanga washo ukuthi kuneng labakuplanile for yona i-wheelchair basketball dinvo likufaka ikhathi njanga yona i-league nekufuna nje sponsor lesita sponsorisha i-league noma i-tournament a certain tournament yayo i-wheelchair basketball for everyone lohlele khalota ubona ukuthi okay lapha ngaya ngifike ngidlale every weekend ngitholele kulo ngikutholako ngicabanga ukuthi njoba usho ukuthi bayidzinga i-league bawathenga ama-tournament lamanengi kusendleleni.
You have it. Beautiful stuff. Now, just know that we've come to the conclusion of the show. It's been a lovely show. We're talking about local sporting activities. I know everyone's heart, everyone's mind now is heading to Qatar at some point. When we meet again on Monday, we'll be less than a week into the tournament. We've received blowing messages that some of the key players, like your Sadio Mane, they're already out of the tournament. What does that mean for the upcoming 2022 Qatar? Don't miss the edition right here on Eswatini TV from the 20th of November up to the 18th of December. Sidlala kamnanzi.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds, full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up